Complete empty space is nothing, and we can denote nothing with 0. But even nothing can be expressed in different ways. For example, we can write 0 as -1 and +1. Now let's take these two numbers infinite distance apart. For reference, let's just call one antimatter and another matter. Now, if I zoom out, I can see that both the antimatter and the matter cancel each other out, which makes sense because both of them were created from nothing. To explain this in another way, I will be giving you an example of a dipole, which I learned this year in high school. A dipole is made up of equal and opposite charges separated by some distance. We can see the electric field lines originating from the positive Q charge and going to the negative Q charge. Looking from afar, from the observer's perspective, there's nothing. The dipole kind of disappears and we are left with a net charge of 0. Now let's go back to the beginning when we created matter and antimatter. As we know of today, most of the things in our universe are made up of matter. But why is that? Where is the counterpart antimatter? If our universe was created from nothing, at any given moment, it should equal to nothing, as all the antimatter and the matter should cancel each other out. But then, why don't we find this antimatter? It may be because we cannot zoom out enough. The universe might be infinite, but we can only observe up to a certain limit. This is called the observable universe, and we cannot observe anything outside of it, as the space here is expanding faster than the speed of light, and the light outside the observable universe cannot reach us. Let us just understand the expansion of space with a simple example. The 2 points here are separated by a red arrow, and now the space expands between them and their distance also expands. We can now clearly see that the 2 points are now more further apart. To this day, we still have to figure out why the space expands. Now let's go back to 0, and this time let's split it into 3 different parts, and each one is a universe of its own. You could actually split 0 infinitely different ways, and hence you would get infinite universes or a multiverse. Now our infinite set of universes would be getting away from each other as the space between them is expanding. And we would end up with empty space or 0. But because we have infinite amount of time, it would be possible that this process would reverse, and all of the multiverse would collapse into 0 as it is made up of numbers. Just like all the numbers on the number line could collapse into 0. And we would end up with nothing, which is exactly what we started with.